Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, everyone. It has been a very packed week for Warhammer 40,000. As with every big Warhammer event, there was a huge reveal for things that are coming this year. There's a new episode of a Warhammer TV show we have to talk about. There's a brand new line of Chaos Space Marines that you all are going to love. We even got a peek at some stuff that's coming later down the line that was not in the initial 2025 roadmap. But I'm HoodGuard, and this is your Monday Warhammer wrap-up. Let's get into it.
The Emperor's light is my torch! Death to the enemy! We shall be the end of you! Feel the might of the righteous! For the Emperor!
No preamble this time, we are hopping right in with the return to Cadia. This is a new 3D animation episode of Hammer and Bolter that was teased a couple of weeks ago. There are many post-13th Black Crusade stories about Cadians trying to find a new home. From the establishment of New Cadia in the Minka Less books to Creed Ashes of Cadia, this is a recurring theme for a very displaced people. But this past week we finally got the first real trailer for this new animation. Just like it's a recurring theme that the Cadians are trying to find a new planet or pieces of their old one, it's also a recurring theme that these plans or missions never go well. This trailer is full of tension and screaming Cadians, and at the end they reveal who probably is going to be the antagonist, some large horned space marine. Now we know from Creed Ashes of Cadia that the disparate pieces of the broken planet of Cadia have been inhabited by Chaos forces. But the castle that the Cadians in this show are going to are a completely different one, so it's bound to have different enemies. This episode airs this week on Wednesday, January 22nd, so don't miss it on Warhammer Plus. Heresy Thursdays are something that I'm actually starting to look forward to because they get such cool Space Marine models. Do I wish they would maybe expand out of that a little bit? Yes, but I'll take what I can get. This past Thursday, they revealed the Traitor Herald Consul. As always, Heresy Space Marines are a little bit more stylized, and I really like the chains that are kind of hanging from beneath the pauldron and from his tabard. The scepter is really great too, though it'll probably only ever fit the Sons of Horus. I do, however, really enjoy the face. I believe for 40k Space Marines, they tend to lean more on augmetics to kind of show the battle-worn nature of these warriors. And this is why I like heads more that have actual scars on them. I think adding the Glasgow smile to this particular model really shows the rough nature of Chthonians. Now I will say we've been getting quite a few consoles during these Heresy Thursdays, so I'm interested to see what other things they have cooking up for this particular game. So for my people who really enjoy the game of Warhammer, who follow the tournaments, they did just release the schedule for the US Open 2025. There will be 3 legs of this tournament, one in Tacoma, one in Dallas, and one in Atlanta. Dallas will be from the 22nd to the 25th of May. Tacoma will be from the 17th to the 20th of July. And then the Grand Narrative and World Championships will be in Atlanta from November 6th to November 9th. I myself was able to go to the Grand Narrative in Atlanta this past year, and even as someone who doesn't play, it was really cool to see everyone there enjoying Warhammer and battling it out. Make sure to head over to the Warhammer community site to get all the details on the tournament and if you want to participate. And also, maybe while you're here, drop a like and a sub. Alright, let's get into the juicy stuff, the Las Vegas Open reveals. We have been teased for months about the Emperor's Children, which I guess in hindsight really does make sense based on their character and the god they worship. However, even with all of the things that we saw that were teased by Games Workshop, I was not prepared for this full release. The Emperor's Children are coming very soon, probably within the next 2 or 3 months, in the Champions of Slaanesh box. They have completely refreshed the Emperor's Children line, and the Noise Marines are looking fantastic. Let's check them out. Starting with 2 of the officer models, we have the Lord Exultant and the Lord Cacophonist. The Lord Exultant really does embody that kind of Slaaneshi Marine aura. You got the big Slaanesh symbol in the back, you have the cone head with the stretched skin, you even have the barbed whip. And I think this is an awesome deviation away from other Chaos Space Marines. Cornate Berserkers are very monotone, and a lot of people tend to just cover them in blood. Plague Marines are supposed to look gross and dirty and diseased. Now granted, Rubric Marines are clean, but they're very boring and very uniform. I think here is where you get a very clean look, but a very different one from the rest of the models in the line. The Lord Cacophonist, however, is the Supreme Noise Marine. They've given him a giant speaker on his back that's called a Doom Siren, and I really do love the Vox grills that they've put on the mouths that are attached to his armor. You still have the Slaaneshi elements in the pink and black armor, but it is distinct from the Lord Exultant. Moving on down the line, you have the Noise Marines. Now, I do enjoy these sculpts. I think they're better, they're more proportionate, and they're cleaner, but I do miss the large top knots that were flowing and super colorful on the old ones. Now, there are definitely some callbacks to that style in these models. A few of these have a top knot or a flowing zebra tabard, but you're really going to have to do justice to the old ones with your paint job. Now, I will say their noise weaponry looks excellent, and I'm really excited to see how you all paint those up. Now, they've also given us the Fallen Blades, the corrupted versions of the Palatine Blades of the old Emperor's Children Legion. These are some of the best swordsmen in all of Chaos, and I love their look. Their armor is a little bit more filigree than the Noise Marines, and they have better, more dynamic poses, in my opinion. You still have that kind of stretched skull and skin thing going on with a few of the heads, though I do really like the one with the flowing hair. I think there should be more weather interactions with some of these models. The silliest thing about them, however, is that they have crop top armor, and that's just hilarious. There are also the more basic Marines of this line, the Infractors and the Tormentors. But even they don't look like regular Space Marines or line troopers of their legion. They're still distinct, they still have cool weapons like barbed whips, and they still have top knots. I think the trouble with this army, at least as far as painting goes, is going to be to try to make them look like a part of the Emperor's Children while making them look unique. Of course, you can paint them how you want, but if you're looking for a more lore-accurate version of this legion, you're going to have to do some changes with a few of these models. Now, the Champions of Slaanesh box will come with the full line along with a collector's edition of the Codex. But that wasn't the only book that was revealed. As if that wasn't enough, we are getting another Primarch book. And it's by one of my favorite authors, Dr. Jude Reed. Fulgrim the Perfect Son will tell us what Fulgrim has been up to since his return into real space and what he plans to do with the Emperor's Children. I'm sure this is going to be released with the model itself, so make sure to look out for that. Now, the creme de la creme, the crowning achievement of this entire line, has to be Lucius the Eternal. The model developers at Games Workshop heard all of us saying that Age of Sigmar had better models, and they said, hold my beer. Now, some people were a little upset at Lucius's face as it's more demonic and cracked rather than scarred and a little bit more human. But the sculpt itself is incredible. The in-motion whip that's pouring out of the pauldron on his right side like a tongue, his own tongue spilling out of his mouth and wrapping through his armor. The standoffish pose, the human skin clothes that he wears, I love every bit of this model. And to even add insult to injury, there's an Iron Hand's arm just laying in the dirt at his feet. This is one of the more popular Chaos Space Marine characters, so I'm glad that they put every ounce of effort into his design. I'm not a big Emperor's Children fan. In fact, Fulgrim's probably my second least favorite Primarch, but I will be picking up a few of these to paint. During this reveal, the Emperor's Children were not the only ones to get some new models. For Horus Heresy, they're getting a new Thanatar Siege Battle Automata. And this is a beefy robot. It has a shoulder-mounted heavy las cannon that can put down a tank, and it even has a graviton ram on its arm for up-close work. The Death Guard are also getting a random new model called the Lord of Poxes. I notoriously do not like Nurgle, but this Kurosawa pose they have for this Death Guard made me make a promise on TikTok, and now I have to paint it. And I think besides the pose, the reason I like it is that they've kind of toned down the rotting away armor and mouths coming out of the stomach thing that is a hallmark of the Death Guard. So look out when this model drops for a video from me. Now, there couldn't be a Warhammer 40k reveal without giving some type of loyalist faction some new models. But I am glad that they chose Minka Lesk Command Squad to update. She's getting a new book called Hell's Last this year, and they've redesigned her model to go along with that book. And I love guard models that are very obviously some character from some story. You have Veteran Trooper Jaromir looking bald as hell, and Commissar Shand with the coolest Commissar pose that I think I've ever seen on a model. I'm just hoping that this trend of releasing models alongside books continues. The last thing we saw in this reveal was the updated roadmap for 2025. Right now, the big things that are coming are the Eldari, the Krieg, and the Emperor's Children. They also revealed that the World Eaters, Death Guard, and Thousand Suns are all going to be getting some type of refresh. And then they gave us 4 teaser images on what might be coming later in the year. And I think we've already kind of figured out what they're going to be. Granted, this is just speculation and us looking at the pictures, but I think I'm right here. In the top right is obviously a Salamander's Aggressor. Salamanders do not get enough love when it comes to loyalist Space Marines. Yes, they got a Battle Force box not too long ago, but they have not had a real refresh or any updates to the lore in a while. In fact, Adrax Agaton is the only updated officer model that they have. I'm hoping to see a new Vulcan Heastan model here, or at least Tashan. Now the top left picture was a little bit harder to discern. There's the word Knight on the pauldron, but there's only really one chapter that uses that font, the Grey Knights. If you look at a Grey Knight model that's out right now, it is so small and tiny compared to the other Primaris ones. There's been a lot of changes to the lore of the Knights of Titan, so I'm really excited for whatever codex they bring with that release. In the bottom left you see an axe, but there's kind of a cross motif on it, so I'm guessing this is going to be Black Templar. One of, if not the most popular successor chapter that there is. And then in the bottom left you see a gigantic spiked chainsword. We were promised knights in the very first 2025 roadmap, so I'm guessing this is them trying to fulfill that promise. Now, whether it's going to be Imperial Knights or Chaos Knights or a mix of both, who knows? Alright, before we head out today, let's talk about this week's Saturday pre-orders. All of the Eldari stuff that has been teased and that we've already talked about is going up for pre-order. The Eldari Codex, both the regular and collector's edition, you'll be able to get. We're also getting all the Phoenix Lord models and the Aspect Warrior models that go along with them. There are also a couple of Eldari vehicles coming, including the Wave Serpent and the Warwalkers. And if you want to learn more about Lycus, the newest Phoenix Lord to be revealed in lore, you can go to the Warhammer community site and they have an article on her out today. But alright my friends, that's going to about do it for today. Thank you guys always for watching. Make sure to leave any questions you might have in the comments below. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.